Well, spring has finally bloomed and gardening can seem a little bit more challenging when trying to conserve water. But here with tips on how to keep our plants green is landscape expert. We have Micheal Glassman. And Micheal, you and I have been talking about these amazing plants right here. I cannot wait to highlight some of the awesome options when it comes to saving water. We were also chatting about the fact, yeah, there's rain out there. We're talking about El Nino, but one wet season does not erase a drought. It takes a series of years to really get out of that. So we still need to think about conserving water. It's so important.
Absolutely, and I was talking to you about it. The frustrating thing is, even in my own neighborhood, I look across the street and during the drought, they let the whole front yard die. I mean, brown, dead, everything. And sure enough, we got some rain, and they're laying sod again.
No.
They're laying sod, putting all the stuff that died before, and it's, people just don't understand, as you said, one season of rain doesn't mean that we can go back to our old bad habits.
Yes, yeah.
So now is a great time because they haven't cut our water yet, and what people don't understand is drought tolerant means you have to allow them to grow. You have to get the roots established before you start cutting back the water. You can't just put a plant in the ground, water it once, stop watering it, the thing will shrivel up and die. So now is a great time to think about creating these wonderful gardens with drought-tolerant plants, but giving them a chance to establish a root zone.
Yeah, they need to be strong before they can take on the stress of less water, right?
And people think, oh, drought-tolerant has to be cactus. No, it's not. There are so many beautiful things, even an old-fashioned geranium.
I love geraniums.
They're drought-tolerant, and they bloom constantly.
They are. I should have taken a picture of mine. I have one on the side of my house. It is massive, and I got it this size. It's only been a year or two, and I'm not kidding. It is huge. It's at least like this or bigger.
And they're wonderful.
Yeah, it did
lavender.
great last year.
There's probably 50 different varieties of lavender. Spanish lavender, French lavender, smells so great, drought tolerant, wonderful, wonderful addition. A lot of people are not familiar with these. Kangaroo paws.
This is awesome. I have to say that if you have kids, I really think they'd be very excited to see this in their landscape. This is hot pink. Can you see this? And then the way that these bloom, it looks like almost like a little bear claw, but you said it's kangaroo paw.
It's a kangaroo paw. It also comes in a yellow and a pink. And the neat thing about them is they don't like a lot of water. You give it too much water, the thing shrivels up and dies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they want the heat. They want the dry
And then
conditions.
Cape fuchsia. Look at this. This attracts hummingbirds. In fact, I was at the nursery, and when I was picking this up, there were like 3 hummingbirds, I kid you not, that were all hovering over this.
Oh, awesome.
So, I mean, why not be able to plant your yard with some beautiful foliage, something that blooms, that attracts birds and butterflies, it's drought tolerant, and it's curb appeal. It makes you feel good to come home and see something beautiful.
Yeah, just because you're conserving water doesn't mean you have to deal with a brown, dry landscape. You can actually have color, you can have flower, you can have texture. You just got to put it in now so it establishes, it gets strong.
Right.
As we go shopping for these type of plants, though, these are great options and ideas. There's more, though, out there. So what should we keep an eye out for when we go to the nurseries?
When you go to the nursery, we all fall prey to this. It's called impulse buying, something that's blooming you buy.
It's so pretty.
Ask the nursery people. Does it take sun? Does it take shade? How much water does it need? So that you know that you're putting the right thing in the right place. And the important thing is then you also want to know how big it is. It does not make sense to buy a plant that's going to get 35 feet when you only want it to be 3 feet.
Yes.
Then you're spending, it's not only economy of water, it's economy of time. How many of us want to go out there and spend all of our time pruning and cutting and pruning when if you only need something that's going to be 3 feet, buy something that maxes out at 3 feet.
Okay.
So that's an important thing. You need to do your due diligence. Do your research, find out what you want. And the other thing is, after you've planted it, mulch. Go ahead and put, whether it be fir bark, whether it be straw, you need to mulch it. What that does is it keeps the evapotranspiration down so that all the moisture isn't sucked out of the soil.
Okay, so it keeps the soil around the plant's root base and helps it really absorb it.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Absolutely.
So then you're losing less water, so then that in turn also helps with water conservation.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. I love it. And it's pretty.
And it's pretty.
It's an extra decoration. Okay, so do you have any other additional tips for saving water?
Well, when you water, For example, one of the most important things that you want to do is you want to think about watering early in the morning. Not late at night, because what happens is then they begin to mold. Early in the morning, so maybe 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And what you want to do is find out what kind of soil you have. So if you've got a clay soil, which means it drains very slow, you might want to put water on for like 3 minutes before it starts running off, and then you may have to water 2 or 3 times in order to get that water to percolate down at least 6 inches. The biggest problem people do is they water in the middle of the day, it all evaporates, they put it on for 15, 20 minutes, and most of the water is rolling off into the street.
And you see it in the gutter
And
opposed
you see it
to
in the
absorbing
gutter.
into the ground. And you have a new book here, my friend, that is amazing inspiration. You would not believe the beautiful pictures in here. Tell us about your book and where people can find this.
It's called The Garden Bible, and I'm very proud of it. It's my 7th book, but this is probably one of the best books I've done. And I wrote it with a writer from New York. Her name is Barbara Ballinger, and it's published from an Australian publisher. And you can get it on Amazon.com, and soon to be Outdoor Living at Green Acres. They're going to be carrying the book. What I love about it is, yes, it's got beautiful pictures. Yes, it's inspiring, but it has really valuable information.
Yes.
How to hire a professional, how to solve problems, how to look at your site and analyze it. So it's a coffee table book that is something worth reading, because you're going to learn something. It's not just going to sit on the table and collect dust.
Yeah, and like you had mentioned when you and I were chatting, it's a coffee table book with meat.
With meat.
Yeah,
and we not only feature my work, but we also featured 29 to 30 designers all over the country, including Australia, because we wanted people to be able to pick up the book if they were in New Jersey and look at it and say, well,
I can apply this to my backyard.
Exactly.
No matter where you live, you're going to find something in here that's going to inspire you to put in your backyard. And one real quick thing, I also love the personal stories in here, because you also talk about how having an outdoor living space, your landscape, how it really has impacted your life.
It does.
For the better, and your own personal stories in there too.
My own personal
story. Check it out, everybody.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and if you would like to find out more information, you can find that at sackandco.net as well. Michael, thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Love chatting with you. It always smells so fantastic every time you come. You always bring something that smells amazing.